Good morning. Good morning. How are you today? In proper English. You know why I don't have a strong Brooklyn accent? People ask me that. They can't believe I was born and raised in Brooklyn. My parents, neither one had Toity Street, a radiator, and all of that. Pick out the garbage. And who you're around really influences the most. Your ear picks up that. There's a good lesson in that, boy. If we just spend time in the Word and listening for the Lord, we'll start talking like Him, acting like Him. So, we're reading the book of Mark. Tell somebody about it so they can learn with us. We're still in chapter 1. And Jesus has just called his first two disciples, Simon, Peter, and Andrew. And now verse 19, going on a little farther, he saw James, the son of Zebedee, and his brother John in a boat putting their nets in order, fixing their nets. They're mending their nets. He had just told Peter, Simon, and Andrew, you've been fishing for fish. I will make you fish for men. And now he needs some other fishermen, for men, not for fish. Anybody can catch fish, but not anybody can be a fisher of men, a soul winner. They were fixing their nets. Immediately he called them, and they left their father Zebedee in the boat with the hired men and followed him. Just read that. You just read it. I know that verse. So the first four people that he picked here, according to Mark, were all fishermen. He could have picked people who were in rabbinical school, who knew the law, who had sat at the feet of famous rabbis. He picked one of those later, by the way, Apostle Paul. He's picking unlikely people because God likes to take unlikely people who don't have a chance and do something great through them so he'll get all the glory. That's a good thing to remember. He chooses fishermen. To the high-browed rabbinical experts, especially in Jerusalem and in the world of the synagogues and the famous teachers and Hillel and Shammai, fishermen, I don't think so. No. You're not talking in my synagogue. We need people who are brilliant in argument, rhetoric, knowledge of the law. So, boy, this Jesus is different. I'm so happy he's different. So he called them to follow him. So now he's going to have four. And the Bible says, just casually, but let's picture it. One of the good ways to read the Bible is to picture what's happening, ask questions of the picture, and then step back and say, what's the lesson to us? I'm trying to do that as I read it so that maybe it'll help you read the Bible more effectively, efficiently. So immediately he called them. Why? Because he called them. Why not the other ones? The mystery. I have chosen you, you have not chosen me, he told them. And they left their father Zebedee in the boat with the hired men and followed him. So Zebedee had a fishing thing going. He had his two sons, James and John, plus hired men, and a boat, and they were cleaning the nets. And now, who is this man? Young rabbi, 30-some years old, 30. And he says, follow me. And they leave everything to follow him. Now, in those days, rabbis did have followings, but they developed because the rabbis were so exceptionally famous and learned, and that still goes today. Among the Hasidim, ultra-Orthodox in Brooklyn, there's three different groups. And in one case, the one nearest us, the Lubavitchers, nearest our church, Rabbi Schneerson was their leader, and they had hinted he was Moshiach, he was the Messiah. When he died, they didn't bury him right away, and they still were talking about he's coming back. Oh, alas, he didn't come back. There's only one that died and came back, and that's Jesus. So Jesus says that to them, follow me. Where? He didn't tell them. When you follow Jesus, he doesn't give you all the itinerary. Are you willing to follow him? I've had a battle with that. When he called me into the ministry, so what will I do? Where will I be? How will this work? No, just follow me. Do what I ask. Can you trust him to work it out even though you can't see where you're going? Abraham went out where God spoke to him in Ur of the Chaldees. Abraham went out not knowing where he was going. See, that's hard for us. We're control freaks. We need to know. I want to know. I want GPS. I want to know where I am 6 months, a year from now, 2 years, and the Lord was not giving us that usually. So they left their father and the hired man in the boat. How'd that work out emotionally? Did the father yell after them like, James, John, where are you going? We're following him. Well, where are you going? No, we're just following him. Where he goes, we're going to go. What he wants us to do, we're going to do best we can. We're coming under his shepherding, his directorship. I know, but I have a business here. You're leaving me high and dry. We had hired men. But don't you get the emotion of that? When I went in the ministry and left my job, my mother, I had to break the news to her. I was already married. And I said, I'm going to go in the ministry. Where? And ended up downtown Brooklyn. And so you already have a baby, so how are you going to live? You went to college. You went through on a basketball scholarship, but I helped you. My dad was really drinking heavily those years. So how are you going to live? I was quiet. I was nervous. She loved me. She cared for me, but she was thinking very practically. I said, how are you going to live, Jim? Well, we're going to live by faith. And she said to me on the phone, can't forget it. God is listening to me now. She said, and what does faith pay? What's the check at the end of the week that faith pays you? And I want to report something to you. God is faithful. When you follow him and yield yourself to do his will, and he has to give you the grace to do it all and keep you at it, he will supply every need. And you will have joy unspeakable and full of glory. Follow Jesus today. I want to do it too. Bye-bye.